Ladies and gents, people of the world, we got some damage to put out. We still have contest mode up for another few hours or so. Actually, even a whole nother day at the time of recording this video. If you still want to go and get your contest mode emblem, you're going to need to put in some DPS. Now, I will just keep it a stack with you, bro. These bosses inside of this raid, they are not nearly as much of a DPS check, a bullet sponge, an absolute wall like Caretaker or War Priest have been in the past two raids that we have most recently. Okay, now in this meta, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. The best weapons for both of the bosses, at least in my opinion, are rockets. Like, just flat out G-Horn, legendary rockets across the board, absolutely cook. Bring along some well locks with some Starfire protocols to spam some fusion grenades on top of that, and you should be looking good. Also, make sure that you have at least 2 surges of your matching heavy. If you're using a hothead, for example, like I am in the gameplay, at least have 2 arc surges. I will keep it a buck with you. I did not have 3 arc surges. I always was running 2 surges to match the heavy and then kinetic because I was using a wither horde. So I wanted my wither horde to be getting 10% more damage while my rocket would be getting at least 17% more damage. If you're not using surges properly, you're literally just hurting yourself. Also, for all of these encounters in the raids, I was on double special. Got to get the heavy drops, right? Also, take advantage of things like Bricks from Beyond, Heavy Ammo Finder, Heavy Ammo Scout, Aeons. I know the Colossuses that spawn in both of the encounters, they can proc Aeon heavy drops, which is really nice if you want to spawn some heavy bricks for your team, because rockets do have quite the lacking ammo economy. And I will say, a divinity for Nezarec himself is very useful because when he jumps in the air, the div bubble is still just chilling right near the ground, and you can shoot it and still do good damage to him. It still procs the debuff. It still, does precision damage if you're using a linear. Although for Nezarec, bro, I would not recommend using a linear. Maybe on the Explicitator, but not Nezarec, bro. Use rockets. Now, out of the 2 contest Root of Nightmares runs that we have done so far today, we did not use any GL, so I cannot personally recommend them. Although looking at DPS charts, they're still solid. I just have not used them in this raid yet, so I cannot safely recommend them for you to go giga burn these bosses while contest mode is still up. But I'll 100% recommend a Galahorn and 5 legendary rockets. Bump of the Night, Hothead are the best ones. The roles that I were using in the gameplay are things like Field Prep, Explosive Light, and my only demo role on the Hothead unfortunately has Vorpal Weapon, which I did use for our first Explicitator kill, believe it or not. Also, with that div bubble, it'll allow you to easily hit those ×4 Izanagi shots if you decide to use that as your exotic instead of the Wither Horde, because obviously you can stack multiple Wither Hordes, at least ticking damage wise, damage over time. And the other big thing is, bro, this raid really is pretty forgiving. Like, you got this. Do not overthink it. You got some good rockets with matching surges. You have some form of a debuff. You bring your Well of Radiances in there, and you just cook. These bosses are not the giga health tanks like we've seen in previous raids, especially with contest mode on, dude. There are people out here two-phasing the final boss on contest mode on the day 1. That's crazy. A lot of teams earlier were really brute forcing their way as well through the final encounter, completely skipping an entire mechanic and accidentally getting a triumph, my team included, which is kind of insane that multiple, actually a lot of day 1 teams were able to skip an entire mechanic on the final encounter and still kill the boss, some of which in 2 phases. Your best rocket options are obviously going to be the Hothead and Bump in the Night, followed up by probably Heathen Vengeance, and then a low-key sleeper that I've been seeing kind of putting in some work, a Red Herring with Field Prep and Lasting Impression, bro. Believe it or not, it's actually pretty good. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Root of Nightmares raid so far. Let me know your day 1 experience, how it went, how fast did you beat the raid, how much damage were you cranking out, and of course if you brute force the final boss. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new, and of course, you guys be safe out there. We should be able to kill him. There you go, Silmain. Get your emblem, brother.